This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The multi-million-dollar bank fraud committed at the National Commercial Bank, for which 3 St. Anne residents are charged, is now said to have gone beyond $100 million, with a 4th St. Anne resident to be charged. This was revealed in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court by the prosecutor when the 3 accused reappeared in court yesterday on new charges of unauthorized access to data. The trio, 20-year-old Romain Strawn, a technician of Hines Town, 32-year-old Andre Harvey, businessman of Chalky Head, and 26-year-old Kiver Calbert, unemployed of Brownstown, are charged with conspiracy to defraud. The allegations before the court are that on November 28, 2018, police personnel in Hanover received information that suspicious-looking men were seen in the Green Island area tampering with an NCB automated banking machine. Police proceeded to the area where the 3 were reportedly seen in the vicinity of the ABM and taken into custody. The court heard that on that same day, the police contacted NCB and made inquiries. Surveillance footage that was subsequently obtained allegedly showed Strawn affixing a skimming or copying device to the ABM where he was arrested. The parliamentary opposition has described as a crisis the water problems now facing sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as St. Catherine. In recent weeks, National Water Commission customers in several communities have been complaining about the lack of water. At a media briefing Tuesday, opposition spokesman on water, Ian Hales, said the situation had resulted from the mismanagement of the projects.
The main cause of the problem in the Kingston metropolitan area has been a serious break in the main line which brings water from the Rio Cobre into the Kingston metropolitan area, as well as the frequent breaks in the line from the Constant Spring corridor, which distributes water to the Constant Spring filter plant and many other communities. These 2 systems serve a large part of the KMA according to the NWC. 105,000 affected persons, and that calculation, however, we have calculated is in excess of over 400,000. The 105,000 speaks to what the NWA speak of, but we think there's greater numbers out there.
He estimated that more than 400,000 residents in the Kingston metropolitan area are being affected.
I'm also calling on the government, the rapid response system which the past administration had put in place and we had rebuilt to capacity. We are calling on the government to also make funds available to members of parliament and the parish council, because members of parliament are calling every day and are suffering in terms of lack of water across the country.
A meeting involving the government, opposition and stakeholder groups, which was set for Wednesday to discuss crime, has been called off. In a statement Tuesday, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips said he received communication from Jamaica House indicating that Prime Minister Andrew Holness and some stakeholders were having challenges attending the meeting. Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips says recent actions taken by the government relative to relations with Venezuela are premature. Speaking in the House of Representatives yesterday, Dr. Phillips pointed to Jamaica's vote on January 10, along with 19 other members of the Permanent Council of the Organization of American States, not to recognize the regime of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and the decision by the government to take legislative action to retake Venezuela's 49% stake in the embattled local state-owned refinery, Petrojarm.
Both actions that have been taken this past week are premature and indeed bring disgrace to Jamaica's reputation. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, we have never expropriated the property of any investor in Jamaica before. It is a dangerous precedent for us to set.
Dr. Phillips says the action brought into question the timing of Petrojam shares buyback announcement.
So we must wonder about the timing of such an announcement. And the question is, why choose to announce when the legislation isn't even ready? And when the committee that has been set up to look at the financial viability of Petrojam is not due to report until May, according to the information that is available to the public. Why choose that time?
In her response on behalf of the government, Attorney General Marlene Malahoo Fort said the decision to retake the shares via a legal instrument is in the national interest and for energy security, among other reasons.
Jamaica remains open to an amicable solution, but the decision is taken in the national interest and for energy security, among other reasons. The law, Mr. Speaker, is of specific application to the shares in PDV. It is not a law of general application. And when it is debated, tabled and debated, it will be made manifestly clear.
The Department of Correctional Services says it has taken drastic steps to quell unrest at Fort Augusta Adult Correctional Center. Dexter Thompson, Director of Communication in the department, has confirmed that restrictions have been imposed on certain inmates. A search was carried out and 4 cell phones were confiscated. The inmates had gone on social media twice recently, raising security concerns and alleging that the authorities have been violating their rights. Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Audley Shaw says the government will be taking a multi-pronged approach to improve the coffee industry. This includes market diversification and the increased productivity and production of Blue Mountain, High Mountain and Lowland coffee. Addressing the launch of the 2nd annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston this week, the minister said the government is committed to supporting a vibrant industry both for export and to supply the domestic market. The approaches to be taken are expected to work in tandem with the long-term solutions that the government has for placing the industry in a better position. Among the solutions are the reduction of infringements on the Jamaica Blue Mountain and Jamaica High Mountain coffee trademarks on the international scene, as well as locally through the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival will be held from March 1 to 3 in Newcastle, St. Andrew. It will feature coffee and coffee-related products, food stalls, tastings, and demonstrations. Here are some highlights from last year's festival, just in case you missed it.
Evergreen trees, crisp mountain air, and the aroma of steaming hot coffee. The combination is exquisite. Coffee, some say, is the nectar of the gods. In fact, coffee farms around the world can trace their existence back to the coffee forests in ancient Ethiopia. Here in Jamaica, nestled on our Blue Mountain range, is our very own uniquely grown Blue Mountain coffee. And today, we get to taste it in many forms. I'm Simone, and this is PBCJ's coverage of the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival.
The US dollar on Monday, January 14, ended trading at Jamaican $131.58, down by $1.22. According to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary, the Canadian dollar ended trading at $99.59, up from Jamaican $94.80. while the British pound sterling ended trading at $166.23, down from Jamaican $166.53. In regional news, Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Erwin LaRocque, says crime involving youth is a regional problem that demands a regional solution. He was speaking at a two-day conference in Guyana aimed at examining and redefining violence prevention solutions as it relates to youth in the Caribbean. It began on Tuesday. LaRocque said that crime and security is an issue that is having an impact on the 15 members of the Regional Integration Grouping. He said a United Nations Development Program 2012 Caribbean Human Development Report on Citizen Security noted that crime and violence impose high social, economic, and cultural costs. Crime and violence are development issues, and the report recommended that a model of security for the region should be based on a human development approach, with citizen security being paramount. The two-day conference is intended to design transformational youth-centered action to combat crime and violence and address constraints that youth activists face in improving community safety outcomes. In sports, Darren Bravo's 27-month exile from Test cricket finally ended yesterday when he was named in a 13-man squad to face England in the opening test of the 3-test series at Kensington Oval next week. The left-hander is one of several changes to the squad, which suffered an embarrassing whitewash in Bangladesh last November, with Windies A batsman Shamar Brooks and John Campbell called up for the first time, and fast bowler Alzari Joseph returning following injury. Captain Jason Holder returns to lead the squad after missing the tour of Bangladesh through injury. The selection of the 29-year-old Bravo brings to an end a bitter saga which had dragged on ever since he was sent home in November 2016 for an ill-advised rant aimed at Cricket West Indies President Dave Cameron, and which led to an acrimonious standoff with the regional board. And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Thanks for watching.